Hi everyone, welcome to Listening Colour with me, Rachel Walker-Mason. We've got some new Maphra, and dear God, I'm excited because I love her.
Vertigo in your arms. Once again you hate me, then it's false alarm. That's just what you always do every time. Watch me when I break and say it's paradise. Set my body aflame. Lock me up and close the door when it rains. Maybe it's my fault I put you up so high. Darling, I think you can make the devil cry.
Oh,
And I've been waiting for the sunset, waiting on a sorry, but you're never sorry, are you? No, you don't even care. How can you stand and watch?
oh my goodness. Can she do anything that I don't love? I don't think it's possible. She's phenomenal. She's in this really beautiful vocal quality. She's in a lot of what's called sob quality, where she lowers her larynx, so you get this da-na-na-na-na, this kind of drop, and it makes you feel like you're about to cry. And so she elicits these responses in you because she's doing with her larynx what yours would do when you're emotional.
Vertigo in your arms. Once again you hate me, then it's false alarm. That's just what you always do every time.
So when she does the always do every time, she's dropping her larynx down. So if I take these off, our larynx has three positions. And whether you're a singer or a non-singer, it all does this. So there's a little technique I can teach you if you want to sing like Maphra. Well, her technique anyway. We might not all be as good as Maphra. I'm certainly not. But what you do, so your larynx sits in a mid position. Normally, that's your normal talking position. So that's just there. If you make a little sound like ugh, like something's really disgusting you, and just rest very gently. Don't push, but just rest your hand on your larynx here. You'll feel your larynx drop down behind your hand. Ugh, down there. And that is what she's doing when she drops into a low larynx position. It creates a darker quality in her voice. So rather than always do every time and keeping her larynx here, or putting her larynx up high, always do every time. She's on the same notes, but it creates a much shallower sound if her larynx is high. If her larynx is low, you get always do every time. Exactly the same notes, but a much darker quality. So if you want to replicate what Maphra does here, you just drop your larynx down. So think of something really sad or really disgusting, like ugh, and your larynx will drop down, and you'll get that dark quality that she has.
Waiting for the sunset, waiting on a sorry, but you're never sorry, are you? No, you don't even care. How can you stand and watch while I'm breaking all my bones, trying to hold you close, got my heart right out of my body.
So what she's doing here, she has these incredible transitions that professional singers spend their lives trying to do as seamlessly as Maphra, and she's in her like 20s or something. She's unbelievable. So the na 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 up there, she's going to a higher larynx position. So da na na. She's adding a little bit of twang, I would say, which is a slightly nasalized sound. Na na na. To add a little bit of brightness, so the sound carries without her having to be louder. So the way to do that is be a happy witch. So if you say hee hee hee, so it's like a nasal sound, or if you imagine Nelson from The Simpsons, the playground bully, he's like na na ha 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 ha. That kind of sound. It's slightly nasal, so she's adding a tiny bit of that to add a little bit of ping na 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 in the top of her voice without having to be louder. And then she drops very quickly into a low larynx, very quickly. So she's na, 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 na. She's able to drop into that much better than I just did. And that's something that's normally very difficult. And we normally get this kind of clunk, kind of like when a voice breaks and you get this, you often get that when your larynx moves from high to low. Hers doesn't, because she has obviously practiced this a lot, so she doesn't get those awkward transitions that you hear in professional musicians all the time. And she is able to control her larynx so that she doesn't get those awkward like clunks in her voice. And so she has this smooth transition through her larynx positions, which is just enviable. So yeah, have a little go at that of moving that larynx up and down to see if you can replicate what Maphra does here.
Tearing off my skin just to let you in. Isn't it a bit unethical? Got me on my knees. Have you any mercy every time you hurt me, baby? Tell me, have I not given you enough? If you ever love me, let me go.
Oh, and she does a lovely little flip there. So the way to do that flip, she's go, and she kind of lets go, and the note kind of travels up and quietly. And the way she does that is completely letting go of her vocal folds. So she's got the go, she does that. So there's a lot of Aurora does that a lot. There's quite a lot of singers who have this incredible control where you have to let go of control. So you have to trust your voice that it's not going to do something weird. So you rarely hear opera singers doing that or musical theatre singers because that is not part of their genre. You don't get that. An opera note just finishes, the end. You finish like that. And if it does finish quietly, you go into a lovely little fade out, a little diminuendo, and it's controlled in pop and rock and EDM and these kind of things where you can use a microphone much more to be a part of your kind of voice. You can do that and you can still hear the end of that note and it becomes a beautiful color to the note, particularly if you're listening on headphones, as I am at the moment. So the way to do that is to finish the note and then completely relax as if you finish singing. So go, and you just let go and the note just flips up a little bit. If you try and control it, if you try and do go and try and push that note out, you get a completely different sound. So you have to totally relax. So you're singing, not singing, singing, not singing, but you are still singing. So mentally thinking about not singing when you're singing is really hard, but that's the way to get those little tricks. If you're enjoying this video, please press subscribe right now and you will see everything else that I've got coming up. Never miss a video.
I don't know what it is, got me wrapped around your cold fingertips. Maybe it's my fault I can't walk away. Maybe I just started feeling a little shame. Oh, I've been waiting on the sunset, waiting on a sorry, but you're never sorry, are you? No, you don't even care. How can you stand and watch while I'm breaking all my bones, trying to hold you close? Come on, right out my body, tearing off my skin just to let you in. Isn't it a bit unethical? Got me on my knees, have you any mercy every time you hurt me, baby? Tell me, have I not given you enough? If you ever love me, let me go. Let me go. I'll let you go. If you let me go. Let me. I've been waiting on the sunset, waiting on a sorry.
That's beautiful. Gosh, she's just so talented. And she's not going into a distorted sound this time. She might still, there's still a little bit of time, but it's really interesting to hear her singing in more of a pure voice sound and not going into the, which I've referred to as screamo before, which is inaccurate. It is not. It's like a distorted kind of sound that she's doing in a very healthy way. And she's kind of known for doing that, but she's not using it here. And she's equally good without that. So it's just it's another color that she uses in her voice rather than her entire voice. That's a really lovely thing to hear, that she knows when to use it and when not to. And that's the sign of a real artist, rather than just going, well, this is what I do, so I'll have to put it in this chorus. It's like, guitar bands that put a guitar solo in every song, even when it's not really needed. She, not everybody can do that. They're like, well, this is what we do, so we have to. She's not using it up to this point anyway. I haven't heard the ending, but it's beautiful. I love her choices in this. And lyrically, been looking it up. So it's Faouzia who wrote the song, and it's exactly back in the kind of 2000s, 2010s, the kind of like new metal and sort of like that kind of rock and that kind of pop was very much the thing that I used to like to listen to, and I could like emo out to my little heart's content and feel really sad. And it's the kind of stuff I used to write. I wrote a song called Kamikaze that's about climbing into a grave with someone, being in a relationship that was very toxic and you knew it was going to end really badly, so you're basically burying yourself. And it ended with like, the grave is made, throw on some dirt and leave me to my reckoning. I've never done anything with that song, maybe I should. But these lyrics are very similar in that way. It's that kind of like, "Oh, I will cut myself just to bleed, to remember that I'm alive." And it's like, I love that kind of thing. So Vertigo in Your Arms, incredible opening. One second you hate me, then it's false alarm. It's amazing. Set my body aflame, lock me up and close the door when it rains. Darling, I think you could make the devil cry. I mean, these aren't these the perfect lyrics for Maphra to sing? They just really are. So this section here is my favorite. Breaking all my bones, trying to hold you close. Cut my heart right out my body, tearing off my skin just to let you in. Isn't it a bit unethical? Like that is pure violent emotion, and that feeling of being in a relationship that is not right and it's not going to pan out right, but you're so addicted to it and you can't tear yourself away, and they're bad for you and you know it, and it's just this whole big toxic spiral. And so like, you shouldn't have to break your bones, you shouldn't have to tear off your skin to let to feel connected to someone. But this is what this song is saying that she's feeling. How can you stand and watch me while I'm breaking all my bones? Now, this person that they're in love with is not great, doesn't deserve them. It's it's such a beautiful song and so heartbreaking. I think so many of us have been there in those relationships. I know I certainly have, in relationships that are not going to work out, that are not good for you, but we can't tear ourselves away. We're almost addicted to the horrible, like the beautiful pain, the beautiful agony. And Maphra paints that with her voice better than anyone. She really does. This is a perfect song choice for her.
But you're never sorry, are you? No, you don't even care. How can you stand and watch while I'm breaking all
Ooh!
my bones, trying to hold you close? Come on, right out my
Go
body,
on.
tearing off my skin just to let you in. It's not a bit unethical. Got me on my knees. Have you any mercy?
Okay. Excellent. She's gone into the full distorted sound. I was really hoping she would, because the two previous choruses were similar in vocal style, and she's got the range to be able to give you a lot of different versions of the same lyrics, and she's doing it here. And it's like she's built through the song to this, where those lyrics, where is it? How can you stand and watch me while I'm breaking all my bones? So before she was doing it like, how can you stand and watch me while I'm breaking all my bones? Here she's like, how can you stand and watch me while I'm breaking all my bones? It's it's as if she's trained in theatre some way, in the best possible way, because what we teach, particularly in musical theatre, that isn't often taught in pop, is to work out different ways of meaning the same thing. So you won't do the same thing in the same way twice. That's why musical theatre often makes people cry more than pop, because it links into our emotional journey through a story. And Maphra does that, which not many singers do, because they've, often in a studio recording, they'll record the chorus once and then the sound team will be like, that's fine, we'll just copy and paste. But Maphra can give you so much more that there's no point doing a copy and paste with her. She can give you something different every time. And I love that she's waited till this final chorus to give us this distortion, as if it's built through her and she's got more and more frustrated and realized how what a terrible relationship this is, and pleading in a nice, like, why, how can you stand and watch me, isn't working. So she's like, oh, she's so angry at this point. So it, you feel much more of a journey with her. So by the end, you feel kind of wrung out emotionally in the best possible way, the way that musical theatre does, particularly modern musical theatre, makes you feel like that. And that's certainly how I write when I'm writing musical theatre. I write much more in this style. And she's singing it. God, I'd love to have her on one of my shows. Wonder if she'd do that. Does anyone know her? Would she do that? I would love that. That would be so cool. I love how she's delivering this final chorus. It's making me so excited. Mm. Okay, let's see what she does for the end.
Tearing off my skin just to let you in. It's not a bit unethical. Got me on my knees. Have you any mercy every time you hurt me, baby? Tell me if I'm not giving you enough. If you ever want me, let me go.
Oh, gorgeous. Oh, so she's gonna cry. And cellos, beautiful.
Let me go.
Oh, that was the perfect ending. That was just going from this intensely distorted sound where her vocal folds have pulled over, so she's making a kind of almost like she's picking up something heavy kind of sound, and then she drops straight out of it with no breath from that into "Oh, let me go" into this beautiful clean tone with a little bit of sob. So she's got "Let me go" as her face often makes this kind of sound shape, and her mouth often drops down because when we're doing a sob position with our larynx, naturally we do that. Oh, because it's feeling sad. So if someone said, "Oh, you know, my puppy got run over this morning," it didn't. Don't worry, I don't have a puppy. But you drop into this sort of face sympathetically. "Oh," and so it makes your larynx drop down to get into the sob quality. So when you see her doing that face, it's because her larynx is down, she's making that sob quality. So when you're practicing doing your Maphra impressions, try making that face because it will get you sympathetically into the low larynx position, and you might find it easier to get into those larynx positions that she makes. Have a little try. So color-wise in this one, my synesthesia, often it's very kind of red with her. Like she creates these red, intensely red sounds when she's in her kind of distorted kind of sound. So that final chorus was very red. Earlier in the song, it's a completely different range of colors. It's a much more kind of mid-blue, which makes me feel kind of sad and a bit haunted. And then when she drops her larynx, the color changes and it goes into a darker blue, and then she goes back up into a mid-range or a high larynx, and it goes a lighter blue. So I can see her larynx movements, which I don't get with most people. Sometimes with Floor from Nightwish, I get that because I can hear her larynx moving like Maphra, but it's rare that I get this much color range in a singer. So yes, you get these variety, almost like a wave going through, and then her going into the tearing off my skin. When it's hot, when it's the high larynx, it's almost got like a kind of yellow in it, which is quite surprising for such a dark song, but it's got more of a kind of yellow kind of haze over the top. And then it drops down and it's the blue again. So it's this real kind of almost feel a little bit seasick. It's got such a variety of colours in it. And then going into that final chorus, it's just red and really intense because she's going for it. And then it pulls right back. And that last beautiful phrase where she just completely lets go and it goes into not an operatic quality, but a much cleaner, purer tone where she could be singing musical theatre. It drops into this beautiful light blue again. She is incredible. And I have this other weird thing that's with my synesthesia. So synesthesia for different people, it kind of works in different ways. I also taste something when I hear music. So that sometimes, particularly when I'm writing a song, if it's going really well and I feel like it's gonna be a success, it tastes like steak in my mouth. Luckily, I'm not a vegan. Otherwise, it would be really horrifying, wouldn't it? To be like, oh, I can suddenly taste steak. Sometimes when I hear a singer, I can also taste steak. So I get it with Ray, and I get it with Jeff Buckley, sometimes with Radiohead, and now with Maphra. And it's not many singers that give me that feeling where I can taste the meatiness of their voice. But Maphra is now on that list. Working in the music industry is not well paid. So if you would like to support me, you can do so by buying me a coffee or a tea, as I say, because I'm British and drink a lot of tea. The link is just here. You are under no obligation to do this whatsoever. You can watch my videos for free and not give me anything. It's absolutely fine. But if you'd like to support me, I would really appreciate that. And I appreciate everyone who already does this and continues to do it. It means so much to me and to my whole family. So thank you. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I love all your comments, particularly you Maphra fans, so keep them coming. And remember to have a colourful day. Listening